week 7 in 2018. Let's take a look at the week after the markets came down so much and where we are in the indices right now. After this, and it's going to be a quick update there. After this, we're going to take a look at some new opportunities that seem to present themselves in other forex pairs. Here we have the DAX index. What do we notice after the market has hit us on a buy signal, stopped us out immediately at the bottom of the balance zone, as you can see by this blue moving averages? What we see is a price right below the balance zone. This is not even close to being a buy the dip kind of scenario, at least not for me in the long term. We have no indication after this week that a massive support has been rejected, or that a move right through that old all-time high, or rather the new all-time high in the German DAX, is going to be taken anytime soon. Therefore, we are not going to do anything here. Let's take a look at the monthly chart, the overall trend time frame we like to look at to determine the current direction of the trend. The price is fighting with the balance zone, trying to stay on top of it. We are getting a new correction after we've gotten a smaller one here, and this is exactly the level of the previous fractal breakout into what could be a new trend direction, but the market really has to prove itself here now. We do not have a higher momentum at this level than we had at the previous high of the price, so let's see if the market can pick up speed again. Right now, stopped out of the long, waiting for the bullish trend to be second. If not, then we'll wait, because overall we are trading back into the balance zone. That means monthly time frame. On the weekly, we probably won't have anything going on too soon in the DAX. Nikkei has closed, or had closed, at the bottom of the blue line, which the balance zone, which is again the blue line here, the moving averages, and we did bounce off of it this week. We are closing a little bit higher, but still in the bottom third of the balance zone, and we do not have any sufficient momentum coming in to take this price to the old highs from the last week, or even higher, which we would like to see if there was a continuous bull trend going on. The longer it will take and the more back and forth action we'll have in this market inside the balance zone, the more this proves to be not a bullish trend anymore. And right now on the weekly, that is the case. The monthly is also showing an interesting scenario, very similar to what the DAX has shown us. We are in an uptrend after a massive fractal has been broken, and now we are rejecting this area, at least so far. Let's see where this month is ending and where we see this continue to go to. As we are looking at the very long time frames, what's very likely is that guys like us, we have to wait for a continuation for a long time, probably for a couple of months even. It's very doubtful in my mind even if there will be new all-time highs in 2018. We don't know. We will have to wait for this to unfold and see what kind of correction type it is. The same is true in the S&P. We have the market rejecting the blue line, and we are closing at the previous week's open, which is not that bad of a price level compared to the overall bullishness that this trend has delivered. However, in order for this to continue to the upside, we do need to see a lot more. On the monthly chart, as we observe here, we have a momentum peaking. We have price right above the balance zone, not even touching it. So that would mean a very clear bullish trend still going on that monthly chart. However, the drop back was so much, we got stopped out, and in order to follow the overall trend from this point onwards, we would simply be putting in a pending buy stop right above there, even though I don't have that in yet, just because I'm thinking that this could take much longer to correct, and I would be putting in one as soon as these levels are approached. Maybe we even have a previous level to buy in in there first. Maybe we will even see this continuing down more as the momentum has started to decrease and price has dropped. We'll really have to take a look and see how this unfolds. We have a system, and this is how we take care of this uncertainty that is going on in the indice markets. And that being said, we have been stopped out last week of all of these longs, took profits. We're not that happy because we came to realize that the big trends are over, and it's now going to take time again before new trends can unfold and before we can really see where we can add on and maybe risk a little bit more and then see it unfold like we did in the indices. However, right now, no chance there. Therefore, where are the new opportunities? We're looking at the US dollar yen. I mentioned it on the Twitter feed, even though it's not marked in here. I have marked it here, but the Twitter feed will actually show you that we have shorts going on right from this level, very small position, and we've added on right there, also very small position. Trend is going down for that matter. We're just following the price. If we take a look at the monthly chart right there, we can see that the price was in an uptrend. It corrected that one, and you would expect it to head higher now, but it failed to take the breakout successfully in this area. It never even hit that area up here, and now we see this continue down. So we would expect at least a move into the 98, 99 area. Let's see if that happens. If it goes further, we would be there because we're short already. But we don't know if that really will take us any further. We'll just wait and trade the market and trade the price and follow the price. British pound Australian. Take a look at the overall time frame. Let's remove this here. What we can see is prices in this kind of movement to the downside, sort of failing to go lower, even though personally I would have expected them to go lower, as this huge trend to the downside still needs a divergence over here. So what that means is we would actually like to see it from a very technical perspective of the market. We want to see a price coming lower, touching that black line, while the momentum would not be able to do that as well. New price lows, no new momentum lows would be the consequence here. We didn't see that yet. We have the price actually taking a fractal right there into the other direction, which is the long direction on the overall time frame here, that monthly chart. It's right now fighting, as I also mentioned on Twitter, with that resistance at 177, 178. We are long since the signal has been taken last week already, but it was taken and the price immediately dropped back into the other direction. Not really drop back, but retraced. And this week didn't really build any momentum, didn't really cover any price ranges there. So we are staying long. We have a stop right below the 50% mark of the balance zone, which puts it right below this small candle there. And we have a small position going below 1% of our equity, and we are just waiting for this to continue to the upside or maybe fail us. Who knows? We have a long in accordance to the breakout of the overall time frame, and we can still, or it's still possible, we are caught in corrections in here in the overall time frame. But we are just following the market. We're not judging, we're not guessing or thinking too much about it. We're trying to think with it, and by thinking with the market, that takes us long in the British pound Australian. Let's take a look at gold and silver. By the black line marked already here, you can see the big breakout that needs to be taken at the 1370, 1380 kind of level in order for this to move higher. In my opinion, still very interesting overall time frame. You get your massive uptrend in gold going from 200 to 2000 essentially in about 10 years. you have a correction unfolding, which means you have a higher high over here compared to the low that you got at the beginning of the previous trend. And then comes the actual interesting thing or interesting stuff here, which is a move to the downside and then a move to the upside, which crosses the balance zone. You have a breakout now on the other side of the balance zone. That means we have been below it. Now we have a breakout above the balance zone, which is marked by the fat black line. And now a higher low actually here than here. If this breakout now gets taken, we have a perfect trend setup, which is a initial move which is corrected with a higher low to the previous one, and then a continuation of that. That might be happening here. We might be in the process of exactly that on the weekly chart, and we have been for quite a while. I'm long from here, have been long ever since this week here at the end of January. Been underwater in this long for all this time. This week we are a little bit stronger, but let's see if there will be this momentum that we would need for this trend to build up and to continue further. Right now I'm not seeing it. So risk calculation again marks an important point. Here I'm very early. This is silver. I'm very early in this. We have, let me remove this. We have this is the initial move that I was talking about in gold as well, which moves the price from the downside of the balance zone to the upside of the balance zone on the monthly chart. This is corrected by this movement here, which finishes off with this huge candle, with this huge wick candle, which never went lower than the previous lows, which is always a good sign for continuous price up moves. However, it has been stalling and has been doing nothing. Silver here uh, very annoying and needs lots of patience to really get this one going. We are long. I'm long, very early long. My stop is now below the previous week's candle. Let's see if momentum gets going. If not, we're stopping out right away. This either gets going or it doesn't. It has a lot of trouble to get to that point where it can build up momentum, as we can see. However, we will still take any opportunity that on a technical basis makes sense for us to trade, knowing that the risk should be small until we really see the trend going, until we are really able to judge whether the market is able to show us some follow through and at least approach this monthly breakout here. This is not shown right now, therefore risk small. We're still waiting in this guy. Someday it might happen, and we definitely want to be there when this thing approaches the old heights, when it gets going from all the way down here to approaching these new highs. When you take a look at this chart from this zoomed out perspective, you can actually really see what kind of perfect setup actually this is. You have a huge divergence in silver in here. When you look at the momentum indicator, it's a very long stretch from 2013 to 2016, a long stretch divergence. The market then, after it finished doing that divergence, it moves right through to the other side of the balance zone. And it has never made a new low ever since moving through to the other side of the balance zone right there at the somewhat, I don't know, 14 level or 1350 something level. Never went lower than that, and we're just waiting for this fractal there to be taken, and then the market is opened up and it can move out to the upside. Not a whole lot of resistance in between that. However, we're not there yet. We're waiting for it. We have been waiting for it for such a long time, ever since that high has been made and we've come down here. We're thinking, this might be the case. As long as the market doesn't make a new low. And of course, we've seen this huge bar here with that massive wick. That would be a good point of or good sign to that has rejected these lows right there. These are a couple of new opportunities that we're looking at. Uh, I don't really see anything too great to be too euphoric about. We really have to wait and see. Indices are done for now. Let's accept that reality and move on from here. Let's see where the new opportunities are. Maybe they will even come back in the indices. Who knows? And take them and hopefully add on to them and therefore proceed well throughout the year and throughout the next years that we are looking here, because we're looking at the next dozens, hundreds, thousands of trades. The next one trade, two trades, three trades are absolutely not important, and that we ensure by using the correct risk management. Because if you never risk too much on any trade, no trade can devastate you. However, the accumulation of profits of many trades can actually change your financial future in that regard. Thanks again for visiting my YouTube channel, for watching this. Leave a comment, like the video if you liked it, and I talk to you soon. Bye bye.